off there now, so we're recording now, Jonathan Bell. How are you?
Debbie Deegan, how are you?
I'm great, how are you? It's great to see you. You're too far away, Jonathan.
Nice to see you,
Nice.
Do you remember that?
Bruce Forsyth, was it?
Yeah,
Bruce Forsyth.
yeah, for 10 points.
You see. So anyway, San Diego, an Irish man in America. Fascinating altogether. I'm dying to hear all because I haven't.
I think I'm the first Irish man ever to be in America.
I think so. Yeah, and maybe the way things are going at the moment, you just might be the last.
Or maybe coming home. No. It's crazy times, but the last 3 years it's been crazy as well, you know.
So how long are you in America now, Jonathan?
I'm since 2004. I came here.
Okay, right.
16 years now.
It's an awful long time.
It is, yeah.
Nearly half your life.
I was in London for about 9 years as well before that.
Okay. And you didn't love it?
What?
You didn't love it?
London I loved, but by the end I was ready to leave. You know, they should say you should always live in one big city and know when's the right time to leave, right? Yeah. And I think that was the right time to leave, you know.
Right. So. And so San Diego was the next spot.
My company, actually, all the moves that I made were all related to my company. So my company started, I started in Dublin when I finished university, and then I went to Teradata, and then they moved me to London.
Right.
And then an opportunity came up, and it was weird because I used to hang out with about 10 or 11 friends over there, and within a year, we just got to that age where everyone went on and did their own thing, and I became offered a job in San Diego, in California. And I jumped at it. I mean, San Diego is just an incredible place. Have you ever been, Debbie?
I have never been. I've been to San Francisco to my beautiful friend Laura and Napa Valley and those magnificent, rich, beautiful places. And where she lives, there's that microclimate. You know, like 50 weeks of the year is beautiful blue skies. It's just a magnificent place.
Yeah.
No, I've never been to San Diego.
Sometimes, yeah, I mean, San Diego, sometimes, I mean, you have to put on a sweater. A jumper, you know, but you know, that's about it.
Yeah. And listen, so tell me, so you have a great job and all that. I know you have a great job, and I have been trying to avoid politics with everybody in this thing because once you started down the politics road, it's a complete and utter disaster. So what I want, I can't avoid asking you because first of all, I know you absolutely love the subject, and I suppose because it's such a hot subject in America at the moment, I have to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I have to talk to you about it because there's no getting around it. I'm dying to hear your views as a very, like, I mean, I know what you're like. You're full of beans, full of personality. You're a real down-to-earth Northsider, Dublin. And I'm dying to know what you think of the whole debacle between Fauci and Trump and the whole fucking thing with the virus and what is going on.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it's a big melting pot at the moment, right? I mean, let's step back a little bit and talk a little bit about Trump, right? So clearly, well, it's not clearly because people who are watching this probably don't know what way I lean, but I absolutely lean left. Now, I'm not a bleeding heart leftist, but I'm certainly not, I don't align any way with anything that Republicans stand for. And we all live in these kind of bubbles, right? We all live in them, you know, in Ireland as well. We live politically in bubbles, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, certain information into those bubbles that dribbles out, right? The reality of it is that, I mean, in 2016, I was devastated. Like, it wasn't just a bad thing for me. It was devastation at my core that Donald Trump got into the White House. Okay. I went thinking that, you know, Hillary Clinton was going to be the next nominee. And
well, everybody went to bed thinking it. I mean, when everybody went to bed that night, he had 12% of the vote, according to the poll.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was just a disaster. The whole thing was a disaster. And and it is one of the things I wanted to talk about was polling, right? What's polling?
Well, I'm not really that involved in politics in Ireland at all, but I know what polling is because it's kind of like you take the temperature of the minds of the people, yeah? And so you have to believe you try and believe the polls, and you think that they're taking the thermometer out and getting the right temperature. Isn't that really what it is?
Well, ultimately, the reason why Hillary Clinton lost the election was because of polls. That's the bottom line. And it's the exact same thing that's happening now when they say there's no meat anymore being produced, and now there's no meat on the shelves when the news related. So polls, exactly same thing happened. Hillary was beating Trump in the polls by 20 points in some places, right? Democrats win elections when we turn out to vote. Republicans always vote. Democrats turn out to vote when we're told to go out and vote. We were basically told, Hillary's in. She's won us by a landslide. So what a poll is basically a big crystal ball that people get all these variable information into, and then they chunk it and truncate and do all the math. And, oh yeah, this is what we think it is from this sample size of 1,000 people. Well, I never.
Just keep talking. Just give me 1 second. I just have to let the dog out.
Okay. Well, I will never ever in my life trust a poll again, ever in my life again.
Okay.
And the same thing that happened with Brexit. You guys went to bed thinking Brexit wasn't going to happen. And
that's right.
Right? So you just don't trust. And even now, it's starting again, where they're saying Joe Biden is kind of leading Trump in the polls. That's dangerous. That's dangerous information. But what you're saying is, hey, I don't need to go vote. Well, everyone needs to go vote. Yeah. Everyone. Actually, I think it should be a mandate that everyone should have to vote. Right? Yeah. Like in Australia, they actually have that. It's illegal not to vote. Right?
Okay.
Ultimately, that's what happened with Hillary Clinton. So now go forward. I don't need to go through like the last 3 years.
Yes, of course, yeah. Well, Hillary Clinton did win by 3 million votes. She did win the election.
Yeah, she did win the popular vote, but because of the college electorate, that doesn't work in any. It's so.
Which certainly nobody that I know understands it. It's an impossible situation.
It is, but actually, if you are interested in politics and you are interested in the college electorate, when the founders set it up, it wasn't actually a very clever thing to set up, because what you're doing is representing your state, and it's basically saying, you know, if I just get the mass vote, if I concentrate on the coastal areas or the mass population areas, I can win the presidency. Well, the framers put it in saying, oh no, you got to go to Middle America and get all those votes as well. So it is actually quite clever, but it's dated. It's completely outdated.
Now, Jonathan, come down to the nuts and bolts, because we could talk about this for 3 hours, but we don't have 3 hours. Donald Trump as your president, do you get under the sofa when he's on, and we're actually watching his 10 o'clock at night press conference, because I won't say it's as good as West Wing, obviously it's not, but it's great television, because I don't even want to really say this out loud, but I have to. I've never seen such an embarrassing person on television, ever. Yeah. Are you all under the sofa?
Well, I think at this point we're just so immune to the gaffes and what he says, and it's just every night. There's nothing left to get upset about. I mean, he's basically done everything up to now. I mean, he's completely changed the presidency. He's completely changed it for the worst, not the best, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, when we get a new president, Joe Biden gets in, who, by the way, is not my number one pick, by the way, but yes. I would pick literally an orangutan to go into that office over him. I would pick a cat rather than Donald Trump to go in for another 4 years.
Anybody. So, do you think that Donald Trump has lowered the everybody's bar?
Yes.
There's more racism, there's more sexism, there's more bad manners, there's more aggression, there's more the scenes from Michigan last week of those big hairy bikers, they looked like to me, big terrifying with AK-47s across their chest. It was, in this day and age, it was just an unbelievable scene. What was your thought? You're living in that country. Right. What do you feel about?
And to think, I look at those pictures, and it's atrocious to me to see people, you see some pictures on the New York Times where you got one of these protesters shouting all out around at a doctor on a sidewalk, where the doctor is standing there saying, we're trying to protect you, and of course this is against religious freedom, and they're all in that same circle. Those Republicans, NRA, gun lobbyists, I protect my rights, blah blah blah. It'll be a different story when they get it, or they give it to their grandparents and they die because of it. Then it'll be a different story. But it's horrible to see. It really is horrible to see. Especially when the people that they're trying to fight are the ones who are ultimately going to save them in the end.
Now, can I ask you about the NRA? Because as a little Irish country, we don't have guns. The odd farmer has a gun to chase the local lad down the lane, chasing his sheep or whatever. But there's 5 million members to the NRA. I kind of don't get it. I understand about your rights and all that kind of thing. After Sandy Hook, if they didn't change after Sandy Hook, they're never ever going to change. Would I be right in saying that? If Sandy Hook wasn't the line of command when the children were slaughtered, it's never going to change.
Right. And there's been dozens since and before, and hundreds before actually. yeah, it's such a hot potato. It doesn't matter whether it's Democrats or it's Republican. Democrats don't go, as far as their members are concerned, don't go far enough. Republicans go way too far with releasing freedoms on the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms, which was there put back in the founding fathers for militia reasons, not for military grade M16 rifles to protect you in your house. Right? But regardless of that, it's very, very difficult to change. I can't see it changing ever in my lifetime. I can't.
John, if you're in a pub at night and you meet somebody from the NRA, and you say to them, like in Australia, when they took away all the arms, all the mass shooting stopped, completely stopped. That was it. There was no more mass shooting. Now they've done the same in Canada, so we'll assume the same thing is going to happen. So when you say to somebody who's in the NRA, do you not think it'd be a good idea if we took everybody's rifles off them, that actually the mass shootings of our children in America might stop? Do you ask that question? Is there
absolutely
arguments about that?
Yeah, and that's the constant argument is that they would say they use it for home protection, but it's never used. In fact, it's used for more suicide than it is for home protection. It's never used for home protection. If I have a gun and it's in a safe and I'm a responsible gun owner and I have a safe and somebody breaks into my house, am I going to say, hang on 1 second, let me go to the safe and put in this combination while I get the gun to shoot?
Yeah.
Right? It's not logical. Right?
Yeah. Jonathan, I know loads of clever Americans, loads of bright people. You're obviously very clever. You're married to a man who's extremely clever. You've beautiful friends. I've magnificent clever friends in America. Is it a lack of education in certain states?
It is.
Is that what it is?
There is. Look, Debbie, I'm going to be brutally honest here and say that since I've been the 16 years in America, I've met some of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
And just look at one institution to back that up is NASA. I mean, the smartest people in the world, right?
Yeah.
And then I've met the dumbest, and you can't fix stupid. You know, you really can't. And there's a lot of them, and they're.
Well, you can educate stupid, Jonathan. You can educate.
It is. You can. It's very difficult though, because there's ignorance there as well, right? And bigotry and a lot of other things that are fundamentally there, right? And that's another problem with politics is that the Democrats are considered elitists, right? College educated, all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
Are non-college educated, and there's always that battle. And getting back to your Trump thing, and this is a really key thing. A lot of Republicans support Trump because they know Democrats hate them.
Okay.
Or hate him.
Okay. Yeah.
And isn't that an incredible thing to think? Just think about that for a second. Like, I know people who are, I don't really know people, I wouldn't hang out with them, but I certainly can tell you that people absolutely love Trump for the disruption he's causing because Democrats hate him. They love him. And they'll put their morals, they'll bury their morals because of it. They'll actually say, I mean, you've got the evangelists in middle America who support Trump. Here's a, 3-time divorcee, sexual things, cases coming against him, rape and all that. And says he's religious and brings out this Bible, but can't quote one
line. I saw that was hilarious.
Yeah, and they were all my favorite. Great answer.
Yeah.
And they're supporting him in trust. I mean, literally, they're telling them to go support him. So that, I mean, I don't know how you fix this then, right? But I can tell you something. It needs not to happen again. And I joke with Ed, and I say this thing: we have to have this thing going forward after Trump, because I'm thinking after Trump. I'm being very optimistic, and I'm saying I'm really hoping that Democrats win, and I really do hope they win. I'm not trusting the poll, but I really do hope that people go out and vote. But I say there should be this thing, and it should. And I'm half joking, half serious, where they say we should call this thing called the Don't Trump test. So if you're running for president, you have to do a couple of things. You have to give your tax return, right? Yeah. You have to pass a test, and you have to pass a certain IQ test.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. You have to go to college. You have to be like a college graduate.
Yeah.
And you have a certain level of articulation.
Yeah.
And if you have those 4 things, you don't qualify. So you're not qualified to be president.
Yeah.
I kind of joke about it, but I'm actually kind of half serious about it. And I think that bill should call, and they can actually call it the Don't Trump test if they want in the future. I think that'd be a great name.
Yeah, that is. I mean, if you look back at your previous presidents, would most of them have ticked that box? Those boxes.
I think Bush would have struggled a little bit, but
Yeah.
Bush looks like Einstein. Like
Yeah.
Bush was bad, but look at him now. You
Yeah.
know, take Bush like that over him.
Jonathan, why are the Democrats, where are all your magnificent, intelligent, beautiful, educated Americans that are exceptionally wealthy? Why are they not running? Where are the why is there not more fantastic people in the Democratic Party running?
Well,
What,
there is.
why is it Joe Biden, who is 70 something, and
I know.
like what's the story?
So actually, one more caveat to my five. There was a sixth, which was you cannot be over the age of 60 years of age.
Agree.
Right?
Yeah.
And below a certain age. But anyway.
Yeah.
So let me just tell you that since I have to give kudos to the Democratic Party, because what they've done really is they've gone down to the grass level. They've kind of come from the top. They've actually gone from the grass level up, and they tried to, people got involved. They got these movements going, grassroots movements. And actually a lot of women, they stepped forward and got into these positions. And we've actually seen a massive increase in representation from women in parties, whether it be in Congress, local government, state government, and then all the way up to senators and et cetera.
Okay.
Right? Which is great, because I think, honestly, I think women are going to solve the world's problems, right? And enough time has been given to men to try and solve it out, and clearly they can't. So let's just move over. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, when you have women like Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that, who I adore, I think she's one of the most smartest women, out there. Unfortunately, she didn't make it due to politics. She didn't make the ticket. Bernie Sanders, amazing guy. He's a guy, obviously, but so they call him a socialist, but reality, he's not really a socialist. There was a huge field, Debbie, that was here. I don't know if you got exposure to it, but there was a massive Democratic kind of run for president.
Yeah.
And whittled down ultimately to Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And Joe Biden got it. Now, Joe Biden, to me, he's a really nice guy. He's very partisan, so he'll work on both sides of the aisle, which is great, and we need that. Anyone that we put in there from a Democratic perspective is going to rebuild the presidency, back up that office, back up to its stature, where we're respected again. Because I mean, you can't go any lower than where we already are. So I mean, I think there is certainly Democrats are putting up a lot more people, and Trump has done that. He's caused a fire for people to say, well, now I'm getting involved. People who have never been involved in politics before are now involved in politics.
Okay, that's good.
So it is definitely good.
Good.
Women are certainly taking the lead there as well.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, we're all praying. Not that I pray very often, but like the whole world, I think all of us, anybody that I know will go into a spiral if he was to be re-elected. It's just the physical. It's just to look at our world the way it is at the moment. It just seems to be for all of us in quite a low place. And I'm not a negative person, but with everything, with wars, with viruses, with Trump blaming. The scientists are saying it's coming from bats, and Trump is saying that he has secret information that it's coming from bats. Like, he makes it up as he goes along. Somebody in his position, I don't understand how they have the freedom. I just don't understand how they have, like, I mean, I haven't watched West Wing, which is my idea of, like, I mean, I don't know if you ever watched it, but I mean.
Oh, my favorite program.
Oh, my God. Like, when you watch the whole team making these brilliant decisions with brilliant minds,
Right.
You just don't think that team is there at all, that he's just listening to nobody, and it's just so sad for the world.
Right. I honestly don't think they can control him the way they thought they were going to be able to control him. And also, it's due to their saturation. It's literally saturation, right? And the press cycle is so small now.
Yeah.
That literally he'll say something and he knows within a day it's gone. No matter what he says, the press cycle has got so. Whereas before, if that had been Obama's, that would have went on for 7 months.
Yeah.
That whole, he'd have said something stupid. It would have went for 6-7 months. Now it's a day. And it's on to the next thing and the next thing. And the press can't keep up. They just can't. And if they ask him a tricky question, then he says, oh, you're fake news. And he'll even, so disrespectful, he'll even say to people, oh, yeah, why don't you ask me a question because you're fake news? And it's just
unbelievable to them all.
This is one thing I wanted to say. Donald Trump is the antipode of people when they want to segregate people. He people out of the woodwork that need to be in the woodwork and segregate people. But we need somebody without sounding too fool-foo.
He own Fox News. What's this?
You would think it, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would think it. You would think that he does own it or have a share in it, Yeah. And even when they don't do something he likes, he'll actually tweet about it. And but this is presidency by tweet, right? That's what they say. It's presidency by tweet.
Yeah.
Prior to tweet, they know, big things are coming out from policy perspective by tweet and all that. But to get on to close out on this one is ultimately, when I don't care who goes into office, as long as they can, without sounding too foo-foo hippie to the left, because they can unite the people. Because ultimately, the president is for both parties, it's not just for one, right? Leader of their party that elected them, but ultimately they're the president of the United States, and the United States is united, right? So you need to get somebody who's going to bring both groups somewhat together. And it can't be that hard, right? Because we're so fragmented that, far out.
In fact, your celebrities are very good at that. I mean, the Oprahs and the Ellens and the Beyonce, with the big statements coming from all these people. Rihanna's after doing tons of stuff for coronavirus. Like, they're very powerful people in your country, really, aren't they?
No, definitely. And they all, obviously, most of them lean left, right? You got a couple who lean right, most of them lean left, But I mean, if you look at the whole thing around the coronavirus, and I know you're going to be talking to my friend Don around coronavirus, but I mean, that whole fiasco, I mean, the fact that he said, it's 15 and it's going to go down to none really soon, and then turns around and says, no, I didn't say that. Well, actually, no, you were on camera saying it, I mean, like if he says it, he thinks it's not true. It's not true, right?
But there's plenty of people who believe him. He's probably clever from that point of view, because he says it once, he didn't say it. Loads of people believe that he didn't say it because they're so.
You will get people who will say, he didn't say that, and you go, well, there it is. And even if they say, you've shown it to them, they still won't believe it.
So listen to the subject of the toxic one, because I try not to even, there's things I'm dying to share on my own Facebook and Instagrams and all that about him, because I can't stand him, but I don't even want him in my day. I don't want him in my life, his face looking at me. But to change that, so life in America, you obviously love it. I mean, you're thriving over there, Jonathan.
Yeah. Apart from this. But apart from all put the politics to one side, your personal life, the family you're involved in, ex-family, you have a magnificent family around you over there. I do. A family is absolutely everything, and I never thought I'd actually have this. A couple of years ago, the judicial system over here passed gay marriage, which was phenomenal. Although I think Ireland was still the only country whose gay marriage is through referendum, right?
Yes.
Or first, maybe there's others now, I don't know. But
there's loads of others.
It was the first. So life is great. But to be fair, California it's like its own country, really. There was this joke when you guys start talking about Brexit. We were talking about Cal-exit, right?
Yes.
California breaking off from the rest of America.
Yes.
I'd love nothing more than that.
Now, come here. While I have you on, I'm dying to know about Arnold Schwarzenegger and the pony and the donkey. I mean, I do watch that, actually. But so he left Maria Shriver, who I do read every kind of I think I read her every day of the Sunday.
Incredible lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's I at one stage, I must say, I would have thought, now there's somebody who could be the president of America. I mean,
absolutely.
Like, they probably would have been a golden couple if he hadn't shagged the nanny. You know what I mean? They probably.
Right. Well, he can never be president, because you have to be born in America to be president.
She could have been.
She could have absolutely. She could have broke that glass ceiling. Yeah. Chops for it. She certainly had all the chops.
Yeah. Now the only thing is, her family have had that immense grief all their lives. The whole thing. Like, it's up to only a month ago.
Tragedy. Yeah. I don't know. I think the whole family is just. There's a curse somewhere there or something.
Oh my God. There's definitely a
one
curse.
thing after another. But Arnold Schwarzenegger was a great governor. He was a Republican, by the way. Actually.
And she's a Democrat, which was
must have
been great fun at the kitchen table.
Yeah, that'd be good at the kitchen table. Yeah.
He definitely made a huge mistake. Mistake.
Monster. I think probably one of his biggest regrets, right?
I'd say absolutely. Yeah.
But we've got a great new governor now, Gavin Newsom. He's because when you Florida, Texas, New York, and California, the big states, if you're kind of governor there, it's kind of like running, you know, a country. It is running a country.
Okay. And listen to me, the other fellow we're seeing all the time now, which we all kind of half love, is Cuomo, yeah?
Mhm.
In New York. So is he,
Yeah.
I mean, is he fabulous? Is he as fabulous as he's coming across, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he said he's never going to run for president. He's I love how straight talking he is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I agree.
this is the way it is. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, there's no, as Joe Biden, no malarkey with him.
No
you know?
malarkey. Yeah. And do you know what we're all after watching here just recently? Unorthodox. About the
I haven't
Hasidic
seen
Jews.
it.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
to watch it. It's
Yeah.
really, really excellent. I mean, they're living in Williamsburg in New York. There's 80,000 of them or something. And
Right.
it shows it's based on a true story. The girl was actually interviewed the other day on RTE.
It's
And
kind of like a fake documentary kind of thing, is it?
it's kind of, yeah, but she's really
series, but it's real life,
really,
based
really
on real
good.
life. Yeah.
Watch it. It's really, really good. Because to be honest with you, it's fascinating for me because we really don't have those Jews. Really, you'd never see them in Ireland. More, you'd see them in London, all right, the curly hair and the black hats and all. But just it's quite fascinating to watch their mentality.
I mean, like religiously, America. I didn't realize how. I mean, I suppose you should probably realize that when you come to America, but it is kind of the religious freedom. There's so many different types of religions here, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you go to Middle America, they have all these different branches of religion and that you've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
About their lives and existence in I think. But I mean, America is an amazing place. It truly is. The whole ideal of America and how it works, and it's just an incredible place, right? It certainly has its downsides, but it certainly has its upsides, like all countries, right?
Yeah.
And this blip that we're going through at the moment, hopefully it will be a blip.
Yeah.
Right. We got to put a full stop on that one pretty soon. But
and I have to say, Ireland are definitely going to miss your visitors for the next 12 months and all that. All the Americans traveling, and I mean, they definitely really miss it. The west of Ireland, Dool, and all these places. I mean, they all thrive. Kerry, for God's sake, is full of Americans. That's all dried up now with Corona.
Yeah, I think also, Europe as well. Yeah, the whole, I mean, but, to be honest, I think Europeans are known more for traveling than Americans are. I think it's only like 22% of Americans have passports or something like that. So, but I think, I think they definitely do travel, but there's a vast quantity of people here. There's 450 million people here.
Yes, right? So, yeah.
But
a lot of them think that America is the center of the world too, I suppose.
That's the problem, xenophobia, right? They don't look, sometimes they don't even look outside their own state, never mind outside their own.
Yes, yeah, I know. And then as we say, we have the opposite. My magnificent friend Laura's in San Francisco and I miss her. She lived in Ireland for a few years and we miss her every day since she's gone. And she just loved it here and we just she just settled in and became so Irish so quickly. And she's living, as I say, she's living in a beautiful part of San Francisco, which is an amazing city.
San Francisco is quite incredible. It's quite incredible. It's up there, one of the top, has to be top 5 cities in the world.
It's really beautiful. Yeah, I have to.
And if anyone out there who hasn't visited, you should start your trip. Get a flight from Aer Lingus, Dublin, straight over to San Francisco.
Yeah.
5 days there.
I totally agree. Even out to Alcatraz on the boat and all, it's amazing. The whole thing, the bay.
And the weird thing about, I always tell people when they fly into, because they always think they look at California, see the sun and beaches and all that kind of stuff, right? When you fly into San Francisco, because it's Northern California is so big that it's kind of like it's got its own micro ecology system.
Yeah.
So you fly into San Francisco, and actually it's very green, after coming out of winter. So it looks like you're kind of flying into Ireland a little bit,
Yes.
Now, it's very arid, right? It's very desert-like.
We were years ago, we were on the Spanish Steps in Rome and we met a gorgeous American guy and we were all sitting exhausted and, it was hot summer's day. And he was from Carmel and he was saying to me at the time, we were chatting and he said, it's the most beautiful place in America. And I've never been, and it's always been in my head. It's where Clint Eastwood lives. It's on 101. It's up there, up over Napa, I think, in that general direction.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you can take the 101 up there, yeah.
Yeah. And but it's on my hit list kind of. It's a bit I think it's like Monterey, because we were all watching Monterey, of course, in the fabulous series that we all loved with Nicole Kidman.
Oh right, yeah, Big Little Lies or something.
Big Little Lies with the gorgeous apartments in it, the gorgeous houses. That's where the money is,
Yeah,
obviously. Coastline, big money and beautiful places. But listen to me, I can't talk to you all day because we can't post these things if we do. And I really just wanted to say hi. And it's fantastic to see you in your American nest. I only ever see you in Dublin. And even when you come home the next time, Jonathan, I'm not sure any of us will be in a pub either. We're all worried about the pubs. It's going to be a disaster, the social distancing.
Maybe we can get Mark Ranger to come around with his little van and we can have a few.
Maybe we can, yeah. Maybe
a bit of best shots.
He's fighting it. He's not letting it go too easily. He's fighting it.
Oh right, I heard that. I heard some old granny complained or something like that, and he got pulled off. So, if you look back, if you're watching this, get it back on the road again.
Exactly. Well,
I was just thinking actually before I go. I was just thinking because if you want a bottle, if you want a Heineken, you can actually replicate a Heineken. But if you want a pint of Guinness, there's a big in a bottle and a pint, right? I'm drinking this over here because I can't get a good Guinness.
Yeah, no, great business. It's the one thing I think Irishmen live.
It was great to chat with you.
You too. And listen, stay safe and stay corona free and all that. And
absolutely.
Get them all out there to vote, for God's sake.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
And say hi to Ed.
I will indeed. Okay.
Stay safe. Bye, Jonathan.
Bye.